Hey everyone, it's Zena and it's day 3 of the Thankful to the Core Facebook Live course that I've been running. It's the final day and probably the most important day because this is one of the most ignored parts of working the core, working the back. So if you are watching, make sure you dump an emoji in to say hi so I know that you've been watching, and feel free to ask any questions. And so today we're going to talk about the back, which a lot of people ignore, which is actually part of our core. The core, the definition of the core is the trunk, the midsection of your body that supports your spine, and your back is clearly one of those pieces. And it is my biggest pet peeve in life when you go to a fitness class and you finish the fitness class and the instructor gives you all these crunching and all these core exercises, but never gives you any back exercises. It's no wonder we have chronic back pain in our country. Not only do we sit for a living, we're sedentary, we're sitting on our glutes, we're not engaging our back muscles. Not only are we doing these things, we're also not strengthening our back, and that's super, super important. So let's get down to the details. There's 2 different sections of the back that I want to address today. There's the lumbar spine, so the lower part of your back. Oh, by the way, I'm back in my studio, and I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving, starting right after this video. So here we are, back in my beautiful studio space. So we're going to go talk about the lumbar spine, which is the lower part of the spine right down in here. And then we're going to talk about the mid-back area and a little bit of the upper spine as well. And I'm going to consider that kind of one big section. And then again, we'll talk about the lumbar spine. Now, the lumbar spine, the lower back, is where a majority of people experience their back pain. That may not be you. You may feel it in your upper back. But a majority of the clients come to me that talk about, oh gosh, I have all this tightness and I have all this sort of pain that's going down in the lumbar spine. So people automatically think that they need to start working and strengthening that lumbar spine, but that is not true. I just had a conversation with a client who was in here this morning where we talked about yoga. And I love yoga, but one of the pitfalls of yoga for people who just walk in the door and jump into a yoga class is all that back lumbar extension that happens. So all these exercises that put you in this extreme extension of the lumbar spine. And a majority of people who are just coming off of a desk job do not have the strength to support themselves in that position. So I would actually not recommend that you start strengthening that part of your back. I would recommend that you start strengthening the mid and the upper back. And that is because a majority of us are rounded in that area, so we need to actually strengthen so that we can start to extend and build strength in that area. Once we build strength in that area, and then once we also build strength in your glutes and hamstrings, which are the muscles that support the lumbar spine, then I feel like a client can start working into lumbar extension and work those lumbar muscles. So if you can tell that there's a little bit of a progression that I believe in, I feel like clients should start with working mid and upper back, strengthening those muscles, building some articulation in their extension, and then we work on glute and hamstring strength, and then we can move into lumbar extension. So that's kind of the progression that I would recommend. All of this is in my 4-week coaching course that I teach, and I'll tell you more about at the end of today's video. It progresses you in this particular fashion, and it doesn't jump you right into crazy lumbar extension that you might find in a yoga class. It makes sure that your body is ready and prepared to build strength in those areas. So let's start with mid-back strength, and I'm going to start with a very basic exercise called basic back extension. Something to notice when I'm doing this exercise is I'm really working hard to not arch from my lower back. Again, I'm going to start to try to think about my bra line area. So most women have a bra line right here, and obviously men, you don't wear a bra, but you know where the bra line is, and it's kind of right in this sort of bottom rib cage area. We're aiming to arch and hinge from that part of our spine. So when you watch me do that, you'll see that. You also see me squeeze my scapula together. And when I squeeze my scapula together, it kind of helps, again, strengthen those back muscles, those rhomboids and those lower traps, which need to get stronger. And then you'll see me keeping my head in alignment. So when I do this exercise, I'm not going to arch with my neck, because when I do that, I block my air passageway. And it's difficult to breathe, difficult to talk, and not really necessary to do extreme cervical extension. So you'll see that I keep my head in line with my spine when I do this, and I do that by keeping my eyes looking down towards the floor. So let me demonstrate so you can see versus all this talking that I've been doing. So we'll start face down. You want your feet about hip width distance apart on this exercise. It is, if you keep your legs together, that's okay, but it tends to be really intense for people and really challenging to do. So I'm gonna lie face down with my legs hip width distance apart, my hands by my side, and here we go. So as you can see, and these exercises are hard to talk at the same time because I'm face down, but as you can see, I'm hinging from that mid-back area. I'm gonna do a set now where I'm actually hinging from my lower spine, my lumbar spine, which is not what I want you to be doing at this stage of your strengthening. So lift up. So as you can see here, I'm really hinging and lifting from there versus the mid-thoracic spine. So that's a really simple one that you can start doing right away. And again, the idea is to start to build the mid-back muscles and their ability to extend backwards. All right, next, I'm going to do an exercise that employs a little bit of that thoracic extension, but also gets a little bit of the scapula more involved and helps strengthen that. I call this prone scapula squeezes with an arm lift. So we're going to start with the arms out wide. I'm going to do a little rotation in my hands where I rotate the thumbs up, which is meant to engage the backs of my shoulders and the muscles between my scapula. I'm going to lift my arms up, and then I'm going to lift my upper spine up and move into extension. So I love this one. It works a lot of different muscles in the back. There's one exercise that you take from this video and you do every day, this is probably the one, okay? So again, when I'm lifting from that mid-back area, and that's where I'm working to strengthen. So face down. Let me lower my screen for you guys so you can see well. Go. All right, arms out to a T. All right, I'm going to start by rotating the thumbs up, lifting the arms up, and then lifting the upper spine. There you go. So those are two exercises that you can employ to help you to start working on the strength in your mid-back area. Now, like I said, lumbar extension, so working the lumbar muscles. I would prefer that a client has really strong activated glutes and hamstrings before they start moving into pretty extreme lumbar extension movements. It is very common for a client to come in and literally have no idea how to work their glutes because they've been sitting on them for days and weeks and hours on end. We sit for a living. And so when we're in that hip flexed position, we don't have a chance to really work our hip extensors. Those are the muscles that take our leg behind us into hip extension. And those muscles are your glutes and hamstrings. So I'm actually going to show you an exercise that I would give a client first before I put them into any kind of lumbar extension to make sure that they know how to work those muscles and can feel them moving. The cue on this one is to make sure that you're not arching from the low back, because if you are arching from the low back, then you are moving into lumbar extension. Technically, you are moving into a little bit of lumbar extension on this, but I want it to be minimal. I want more movement to be coming from the hips. So this area right below the glutes, I want this muscle to be working, and I want the movement to be lifting from here. So when I do this exercise, you'll see that I'm really focused on lifting the leg up from that little crease area so that I can really activate those glutes and hamstrings. So this is also face down. I can't talk while I'm doing it, but let's give it a go. So face down here. My hands, I like to interlace them and place them underneath my forehead so it helps me with breathing, so my face is not smashed into the carpet here. I'm going to keep my stomach really tight here so I don't arch from my low back. And then, like I said, so it's not a huge movement, but you can see I'm lifting from this muscle right in here, and I can feel these muscles working. So I might do 10 on one side, and I might do 10 on the other. And then I'm going to go into a bent knee version, which the bent knee version is actually significantly more challenging. And as you can see, I'm not arching from the low back. I'm really working from those muscles right there and the glute and the hamstring. And when I give this to a client who has lower back pain, we're basically, again, trying to activate those muscles that support the lower back so that that lower back can eventually get stronger because those muscles around it are actually working and supporting that part of the spine. So I hope that makes sense. I know it might seem confusing. All right, so finally, I don't teach too much lumbar extension exercises because most people, like I said, can't really do too much of it. But there are a couple different exercises you can do. Cobra, modified Cobra. If you take a yoga class, you probably are familiar with upward facing dog. But our lumbar extension exercises are going to take you into a lot more movement in our spine. And again, one of the things I tend to see in a yoga class per se is someone might be lifting from the lumbar, but they're rounding from their thoracic. So if you do those strengthening exercises that I was telling you about a few minutes ago, the upper back ones, then your whole spine can really work on a beautiful extension, strengthening all those muscles. So if you are moving into a Cobra, you'll see I'm really extending from all parts of my back here. And I'm also supporting this movement with my glutes and hamstrings. So it's a very supportive movement. There's no strain happening in my low back, and all of my muscles can support me through this important movement. If you're looking for an exercise that is not maybe quite as intense, but still does work our back extensors, one of my favorites is bird dog. A lot of physical therapists give this. It's in a quadruped position, so it's on the hands and knees, and we work on neutral position in the pelvis, and then we work on taking one leg out, opposite arm up, and all of the muscles in the back here are working and the glute muscles are working, the hamstring muscles are working to support you in this exercise. So you can go back and forth and alternate from the right side to the left. It's a beautiful exercise because it works all those cross body muscles. So the muscles that go from one hip to the opposing shoulder. When you're doing an opposite leg, opposite arm movement, those muscles now have to activate and stabilize you. Your obliques suddenly get engaged, your quadratus lumborum gets engaged, all those amazing muscles in your back get engaged when you do that exercise. So to review, that was the bird dog, where we have one leg that goes back, opposite arm extends, and then we bring it down, and we switch sides. And I like to challenge my clients with a few things on that. First of all, we want to make sure we're not arching, okay? Everything is supported. And then I like to place a little ball in the small of the back here, like a little light ball, nothing heavy. But the goal here is to see if we can keep that ball on the back while we're switching the arms and legs. And it's a lot of beautiful core work that involves the back. So if that one looks appealing, I would definitely do that one on a daily basis. Is a great thing to do. So this concludes the Thankful to the Core Facebook Live course. However, if you enjoyed this content and you're looking for more of this kind of information, my 4-week coaching program, I'm starting a sale for Black Friday. It starts today. It is $60 off, so it's only $99, you guys. That's less than the cost of a private personal training session, physical therapy session, a couple chiropractic sessions, and I can tell you the value you're going to get out of it. 6 workouts a week, emailed directly to your inbox. With these exercises, a lot of these exercises I've taught you sequenced in the right order, progressing in the correct order. That is super important, and you can't get that value for $99 anywhere. You get an email from me every single day. If you have questions, I'll respond within 24 to 48 hours. If it's a weekend, it sometimes takes 48 hours, but usually I respond within 24 hours. If you want to upload a video for me to check in your form, I'm happy to do that as well. I love that, and I encourage that. And you just get access to me for 4 weeks for $99. It's a great deal. So keep an eye out for the coupon code that's coming for that. It's Black Friday. I'll send the link and the coupon code, and I really would love to see you guys in the 4-week course. You can start the course whenever, or the coaching program, whenever you want, okay? So if you sign up this weekend, but you want to start on December 1st, that works perfectly fine. You'll start to get 6 workouts a week starting from the day that you begin, and it's 4 weeks long, so it's 24 workouts. You have 1 day a week off, and the workouts are only 20 to 30 minutes, so you can do them at home. You need very little equipment to do, and again, you get access to me and support and thumbs up and encouragement that you need to help improve your posture and reduce your pain. I hope this was valuable to you. Feel free to ask any questions, and I hope to see you in my coaching program.